If you were around in the civil rights era of the 1960s, would you have stood up for the rights of minorities? Because knowing the answer to this will actually lead you to more success in life. What if I told you there's one simple thing that nearly everyone gets wrong about what it takes to succeed that you can change right now? It's what mega influencers like Gary Vee and Casey Neistat did and continue to do in order to be at the top of their game. Anyone can do it, especially if you really want to succeed in life. In this video, I'm going to explain what it is and how you can immediately put yourself on the path to your greatest success. But in order to understand this, you first need to understand the love affair the human species has with certainty. Everyone needs a certain amount of stability and certainty in your life to function. How much is different for everyone, and to some, it's never enough. Is there such a thing as having too much certainty? Think about all of the greatest advancements humankind has made throughout history. We truly are a marvelous species if you think about how fast we've evolved compared to other species on Earth. Who did that? Did everyone advance all at once? No, it was actually just a handful of people generation to generation saying things that sounded absolutely crazy to everyone else that got us here. Think of Galileo, who was tortured just for saying that the earth revolved around the sun, because it created instability in society and made people in authority appear uncertain about the world in which they governed. When we think of the civil rights movement in America in the 1960s and all that it accomplished, it was really just a fraction of the population that was standing up for the rights of minorities who refused to sit down that really changed everything. In retrospect, it's easy to imagine that if you had lived during those times, that you would have stood up for what was right and risked everything. But the cold hard truth is that you likely would have done what most people did: stick to what felt safe and certain. The good news about becoming more successful is that it doesn't require that you risk your life or that you risk going to jail, but there is a risk, and that risk is something most people aren't willing to take. But it's not even that the risk is so great and too scary. Actually, when you consider what happens to you by not taking the risk to succeed, what's really the alternative? Never succeeding, never knowing your true potential. Once you understand the risk, it starts to change the way you think about it. For example, studies have shown that people don't assess risk accurately. People who were regular smokers were asked if they would ever skydive. Most of them said no. When asked why, they all said the same thing: it's too dangerous. But the truth is, statistically speaking, skydiving is extremely safe, a lot safer than smoking. The odds that you will die a premature death are several times higher if you're a regular smoker versus a regular skydiver. But most people don't perceive it that way, because death by smoking to the smoker is perceived to be something far off in the distance, and they tell themselves that they have plenty of time to quit before they face any health issues. On average, though, smokers die 10 years earlier than non-smokers. On the other hand, skydiving is perceived as an immediate threat. The idea of jumping out of a plane, plummeting to earth, and seeing the ground come closer and closer to you causes you to feel like the threat is close and more real, even though your chances of dying is 0.006 per 1,000 jumps. So what does all this mean for your life and your success? Ask yourself how important certainty is to you, and what are you truly risking by taking chances to advance yourself and your life? How willing are you to make choices that you're not certain about in order to succeed? There are things right now that you think about doing that you want to do, but you haven't done them. Is it because you don't feel certain about them? Is it because you don't feel confident in yourself? When you see people enjoying the kind of success you would like to have, what do you tell yourself? Do you say things like, if only I had their talent? If only I had their certitude and confidence, then I could be successful like them. If you think like that, this is what is holding you back. As a coach, confidence is the most common reason people come to me. They want the confidence to achieve the success they want. They want the confidence to start a business. They want the confidence to start a new career. Yet they all have one thing in common. They all want to be confident first before doing. They want to be confident at doing something they've never done before. Here's a secret that you're not supposed to say out loud. You're not supposed to be confident at things you've never done before. Would you fly in an airplane with a pilot who only had one flight lesson, but who was extremely confident about flying? Would you allow someone to perform surgery on you if they had never done it before, but were very confident about it? Of course not. So why do you expect to be confident about doing something you want to do if you've never done it before? Because we're scared. And it's not even failing at something that scares you so much. It's the fear of what you think failure will mean about who you are and your self-worth that really keeps you from trying. So how do we solve this problem? In doing YouTube, I was not at all confident about speaking on camera and sharing it with the world. All of my old videos are still up on my YouTube channel if you want to check them out. I wasn't good at this at all, but I wanted to be good at it, so I kept doing it. Eventually, over the years, I got good enough that I feel confident doing it, and I actually became too confident at it. What do I mean? Did I become arrogant? No. Arrogance is not confidence. Quite the opposite, actually. What I mean is, I got too comfortable. Yet at the same time, I was unsatisfied with the videos I was making, and I was unsatisfied with the amount of views they were getting. I realized that I had to do something different if I wanted to achieve the success I wanted to achieve. I've started businesses with no experience. I've been through divorce, and I've raised 2 children. And I have to say, leveling up on my YouTube content has been one of the hardest things I've ever done. Why? Because it's incredibly difficult to leave behind the comfort and the confidence and step into the unknown again, especially when you don't have to. My business would have been fine, and so would my channel, had I just kept doing the same thing. But I wouldn't achieve the success that I know that I could if I wasn't willing to get uncomfortable again and do what I'm not confident at in order to achieve greater success. If you want to know what truly separates successful people from unsuccessful people, here it is. Successful people don't wait to be confident first. Successful people do things outside of their comfort zone that will make them more successful, and they stick with it until they become confident at it. Unsuccessful people wait to be confident first before they do something new, which means they never do it. You can't succeed at what you don't try. For most people, their lack of confidence is rooted in a lack of confidence in themselves, which means they believe their successes and their failures determines their worth, which is just another illusion. If you feel like you struggle with this, then you will definitely want to check out this next video where I address self-worth head on.